the trophy wife some people want, or the trophy husband or whatever. But the long and short of it is, my whole thing is, if it all went tomorrow, if we have nothing tomorrow, will she nurse me if I was ill? Wrong place, wrong time, I ended up getting stabbed. You know what I mean? Even in Hillingdon, you know, when I was young, primary school, coming home from school, 10 years old, getting, you know, rushed by like 8-9 people and thrown in the road, nearly killed. Like real talk, my auntie come doing what we do, and just trying to. My aim is not to become the biggest, but the best contractors around, not just in the UK, but UAE and everything else, for quality work.
Welcome. We're back again with another one. It's the Top Tier Podcast. I'm Alf.
I'm Alex.
And we've got a very special guest today. Very special one. I've seen a lot of the stuff you've been doing in the renovation game. You know, highly impressive. We've got Mr. AP.
Hi guys, thank you for having me.
Welcome. How you doing anyway? First
all good, man. Apart from the rain, but we got here.
Yeah.
As always.
Good. See, so I followed you on Instagram. Start seeing the work that you've done. With just to let the people know, let them know what you do. I know you do a bit of you got a construction company.
Yep.
But before we even get into that, I always like to tell my guests, we like to start from the beginning. Peel the layer back, start from school. What kind of person you was like back at school?
Okay. Well, I went to a school in a place called Hillingdon, which is, when I was growing up, was a predominantly white area. Only black kid in the school, bar one Pakistani boy, shout out Rizwan. Still know him to this day. And it was interesting. Grew up in I suppose you would have said it would have been, a lot of people would have said it was diverse, but it wasn't. You know, I had to deal with the usual subcategories and everything else, have to work a bit harder than everyone else, chased down by the people, the younger kids that didn't understand where we were from and etc. But you know, we came out the other side.
Okay. And were you like academic? Did you do well in school?
I'm actually dyslexic.
Okay.
So shout out all the dyslexic people, but it's not a negative. It's actually worked out to be a positive. I always used to get in trouble for working things out in my head. I'd always get the answers right, but it didn't count for nothing because I couldn't show the workings out. But lo and behold, we are where we are today. So was I academic? I was always very creative. Always enjoyed doing, funny enough, acting. I did gymnastics as a kid.
Yeah, nice.
I was a goalkeeper as well for Hillingdon Borough. Played with them for quite a few years and all the rest of it. So as a kid, I was a really good football actually as a kid. Yeah, it was mostly creativity, music, which I used to enjoy. I was in a choir and things like that.
Okay. Was it expected that genre?
Yeah, I was,
okay.
Yeah, bro, like, I'll come to that later on. It crept back up later on in life. So academics and definitely never been my full strong point, but definitely music and creativity has always been, and the physical activity I've always enjoyed.
So then after that, did you go to like college, or did you went straight into work after you finished school?
Well, finished school, I ended up going to secondary school. And
Yeah.
Went to a bit more of a diverse group of people from there. There's a few more people mixed and everything else, where I met my wife.
All back at school?
Yeah, high school, yeah.
Oh, wow, childhood sweetheart.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We were friends for donkey's years, and I kind of held it down until we were ready to leave. And then I was like, yo, and then she told me to actually go away. But anyway, but yeah, we managed.
And here we are.
Here we are, yeah, nearly 20 years in, bro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, nearly 20 years in. So I can't even, I got a rock there. She's, she's definitely one of my biggest, if not my biggest supporter, pushing me.
Biggest cheerleader.
Yeah, always. I don't know, man. I think she's more of a drill sergeant still, but
Yeah.
But she keeps us on the straight and narrow. She's a good woman.
Yeah. I know we talk about entrepreneurship, but I think I just want to sidetrack a bit, because it's interesting that you mentioned like your wife, and I think sometimes a lot of people always feel that they can be like entrepreneurship on their own, But I think it's also quite key, keen and also important to make sure that you have the right people, making sure that you pick the right partner, because sometimes having that right partner could be the battery in your back to excel and obviously push forward.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I mean, she's seen me when I was young and lazy and doing things and just not being who I was supposed to be, to where I am now. But she stuck by me and always said to me, look, you're capable of more and you can do more. You know, she's always studied very well and pushed where she's wanted to do. And now she's, you know, she's doing what she's doing. She's a midwife, but she's looking at, well, not even looking at, she's going to be coming out of that very soon to do property as well. So, you know,
Nice.
Yeah, she's definitely she's definitely important, you know, like, you know, none of us are perfect. And I think this whole perfection that everyone looks for is a myth. I think the beauty of things is the imperfections to get us to where we are. We learn a lot from the imperfections, because without those imperfections, you don't see, well, actually, how could I improve? You know, when you look at the Michael Jordan documentary with his coach, I can't remember his name now, it escapes me, but it's the micro improvements over time. And my missus, you know, she stuck by me with the micro improvements over time, getting us to where we are, and continues to do so. You know what I mean? So, you know, anyone that knows that they run their own business knows that it ain't like all this whole work-life balance that everyone keeps on talking about. For me, I always say it doesn't exist. You know, when you're making a cake, you know, yeah, you can have the perfect ingredients, but the ingredients aren't always balanced to get the ultimate flavor. You know what I mean? So you've got to look at it in
Nice.
the same.
That's a good one.
Same
Really, really good
perspective,
one.
man. You know what I mean? Whether you're Caribbean or African or whatever, you know, you're making that jerk chicken, it's got to be made in a certain way. You're curry mutton or whatever, and if you're African, then you're making that jollof or the kenke, it's got to be the same. It's the imbalances. It's the imbalances that make it. You know, one auntie does it slightly different, but the point of the matter is, what I'm making is that a partnership doesn't always have to be equal. It sometimes just needs to be the right recipe to make the right outcome. And, you know, I think I personally definitely have that. And, you know, I think it's important for people to find out what recipe works best for them.
Side note, you mentioned kenke. Do you like kenke?
But I eat all food, bro.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. You're not Ghanaian, so yeah.
Yeah,
buy some
one of my
kenke.
godfathers is Ghanaian.
Okay.
So one of my aunties, Auntie Philly, shout out Auntie Philly, she's from South Africa.
Nice.
But yeah, she has a few chosen words for me, but she brought things up. But yeah, no, I've got a diverse family, so I'm well lucky with these sort of things. So
Good stuff, good stuff. Something that you said that I really, really liked as far as the imperfections, right? Because the way I look at it is like, we are who we are, right? But a lot of the time as we're going through school and getting older, our environment, we're unsure who we really are. So I think going on that journey first, you find out, okay, who am I? And then you can kind of start to identify your own flaws, strengths and weaknesses. And the good thing about having a good partner, as you said, they can now bring them to light. They believe in you because they see where you can go, but they can also hold you to account and also let you know, these are the areas you need to tighten up on. These are the areas you need to improve on. So I think, especially with entrepreneurship, when I look at a lot of other podcasts and things of that nature, the whole team side of it is always seen as an external, you know, like strong brotherhood, friends, etc. Very important. But I also believe that team at home, you know, for example, you've got children.
yeah,
You need somebody who's going to do A, B, C, D. You've got a number of jobs, responsibilities that need to be maintained. And when you're running a business, you know, when it comes to the home stuff, someone's going to have to bear the brunt
Needs to
of
hold it
you
down.
building a business.
Don't hold it down, man.
Someone's going to have to bear the brunt.
100%. And you know, we're passing ships in the night a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And like I said, because she's a midwife currently, shift work. Obviously, Alex, you understand that.
Yeah, of course.
From your background as well, you know, it's difficult, you know, but from the difficulty comes strength. It's like, you know, you don't get muscles like him by not doing the reps. Do you know what I mean? But it's the reps. It's the reps that count.
Yeah.
It's the reps of the sometimes the pain, the arguments, the sufferation, that all that comes with, you know, because listen, it ain't perfect. But it's all of this that makes it stronger. Do you know what I mean? Those reps, those life reps, they're what make the difference. That's how we get bigger. That's how we get stronger. So we get resilience. You know what I mean? You don't become a millennium runner by putting on your trainers, lacing them up and running around the block once. You got to keep going, and then you burn out, and then you have to start again. You know, you look at anybody that's ever done anything, it's the reps. In anything, it's reps.
Persistent and consistency.
Yeah, the struggle, and sometimes you need to destroy to rebuild. That's it. You need to destroy to rebuild.
Yeah.
Cut the fat.
Yeah, exactly. As you've given the gym example, you know, if you want to stimulate muscle growth, you got to get nasty in there.
Yeah.
You got to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
You got to stimulate it
100%.
by tearing your fibers, you know, and then rebuilding. And that's it. I think that goes across any area of
of
life,
course.
personal struggles, you know, you need to go through them because they'll shape you up.
Yeah, definitely.
They will shape you to improve
Because
and optimize.
Yeah, because when you take things back down to zero, for prime example, a house. You know, you want to build a stronger house with a better footprint. What do? You knock it down, take it back to its foundations, and if those foundations don't suit you, knock them out of the way, and you pour new concrete and rebuild new footprint. But that's life. New footprints all the time. You get to a certain point of a certain house in life, certain ages. You know, you look at 30 as one house. That house was nice and it worked nicely from 20 to 30, but from 30 to 40. You know,
New plans, new structure.
Yeah, new structure. You know, and it might only be a 5-year development. You might do it 5 years, and then boy, you have to knock down and build again. But that's how we improve. It's over time. And I think I'm a strong believer in that. You know, when I went out on my own, I firmly believe like we're officially a year in. You know, we pretty much went back to zero. But you know, we did what we did, and you know, it ain't easy. You know, we've had some wins this year, and we've had some financial losses, not our own doing. But you know, I'm a person that sticks by what I say I'm going to do, even if it is at my cost, which is it's definitely not the best idea. But my name and our company and what we stand for means more to me than the monetary.
And you know what's so funny? We was just talking about that off camera.
Absolutely. Your brand, can't play with it. Yeah. We're just talking about outside.
Yeah, literally. I'll be honest with you, I do love the fact, just to go back a bit, I do love the fact that you mentioned family life, because these are things that we don't talk about, because as everyone knows on the Hot Tier podcast, we advocate entrepreneurship, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we advocate picking good relationships, friends, families, partners. Very important, very, very important. And to pick the right partner is essential, because that can either excel you or it can break you. And, you know, you've been blessed. We've all been blessed that we've all got like good partners that we can lean on just to take some of the burden on certain aspects in order to excel and to push forward. But there's times when there's other people that is more of a hindrance. They're more of a liability rather than, again, that assets into their lives. So listen, I just want to appreciate the fact that you even touched upon that, because in this space that we're in right now, I don't think that narrative is being pushed out. No. And I think that's a narrative that we kind of need to push out. Like,
big time.
Yeah, I know that not the more narrative like behind every successful man is a strong woman. Yeah, we all know that, but to really bring it down to say that you need to pick the right person, the person that's going to go through the trials and tribulations with you, not just there for waiting at the finishing line just to get the trophy. Like, you want that person that's in the mud with you. So kudos to your wife, man, for like sticking in, and obviously the benefits going to obviously play out.
Yeah, 100%.
Big time. I'm sure you know, we've all experienced it as well. You know, the reality of it is, career-wise, personal-wise, business-wise, you're going to have your down periods, your up and downs. So, you know, I can think of so many ways. Been up, down, over and over and over again. And many people have come and gone. You know this. Many people have come and gone. But I know, having a strong woman around to stand by you, okay, we're moving forward again. Even when, you know, a financial situation, it gets tight. Okay, we need to rein it in.
Yeah.
There are instances, if somebody's got the wrong woman, she might soon depart from that man because the bag's gone. And that's a real reality.
Exactly.
That a lot of men experience.
And that's the age that we live in, unfortunately. That's the age that we live in.
Very transactional.
Yeah, it is transactional. And I think that's where having the right partner, where people get lost sometimes with it. Because, you know, people, you know, I've seen a lot of things recently, people are saying, well, from a male perspective, well, make sure that he's got a great job and he earns X and he's got the right credit rating on da-da-da-da. But when you really look back and you look at the real stories of people that have come from nothing and got to something, they didn't have great credit ratings.
No, of course
they didn't have no money in the bank. Some people were sleeping on people's sofas. You know, a lot of people don't know that Ed Sheeran was sleeping on Jamal Edwards' sofa for years.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean? You know, shout rest in peace, Jamal. You know what I mean? But like, you know, it's everybody starts somewhere, and a lot of time with nothing. You know, I prime example,
Francis as well.
Francis
and then
Ngannou.
you. Perfect example.
Just
Should have won, by
last
the
night.
way.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I haven't had the chance to catch the full headline, but I've a highlight. Sorry, but I've seen bits and pieces.
But that's a perfect example.
Prime example, Francis Ngannou. Prime example. And the thing is, people don't know that he was sitting at the camps waiting for food and for running and rushing and all these bits and pieces. But look at him now. Look at him now. Do you know what I mean? You know, you look at all of these success stories and these places, but it's the pain and the anguish that got them to it. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is I hear so many stories, especially in the building game, of people and their journey and what they've been through and what they haven't had. You know, you know, even as close to him in my team, you know, Jacko, who everyone knows, my right hand, you know, and shout out Hefe, G-Man, and Mr. AP Senior, because he'll cuss Mr. OAP. You know, they've all come from some form of something in life and tried to get through. You know what I mean? And I think people get lost with that. I think people are too quick to go, well, this has to be perfect and that has to be right. But the beauty of it is that the great partnership will be someone that's been through it as well. You know what I mean? Because you look at, you know, these people sometimes that come from having everything, and there's not against anyone that has, and then you pair them with someone that had nothing, there's always a friction eventually. But when people have come up together, a lot of the time, as long as the balance and the communication and the exchange has been equal, they last. You know, and I've had a few good examples of that growing up. My parents didn't quite get there, but you know, I have friends. Shout out Alex Shafi actually, and bless her husband Mehdi, passed recently. You know, they're a team. They're a proper team. They were a team, you know, and I aspire to people like that because, you know, 50, 60, 70 years, you know, you're like, what? You know, it's unheard of anymore.
Yeah, of course.
People do a 20-year stint like it's a jail sentence. They're back out and they go again and they start again. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what I've always, I said to my wife, that's what I aspire to, you know, 50 years, 60 years down the line, however long that I'm meant to be on the earth, you know. They're the time frames, and people are just looking at those short transactional periods. When you really think about it, if you look at a relationship, a good one, as like a compounding interest, like any stock or share, yeah, the price might drop down sometimes, but that compounded over time, great wealth is the same thing in the relationship. If you're willing to stick by it and wait, and not sell it during the low periods, by the time you've waited those 10, 20 years for the compounding interest, you've got good wealth at the end of it.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the most dangerous statements...
Maybe singing from the same hymn sheet.
For sure. And one of the most dangerous statements I hear, especially from a relationship standpoint, I'm not happy. The reality of it is, you're not always going to be happy.
Facts.
No,
You're not always going to be happy.
Of course not.
You know, this thing is about a shared vision, and how do we collaborate, work together and stick at it to achieve this shared vision.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's very simple. We've got a business agreement. We're going, it's a down period. So, I'm out of the business. That's foolish. You've already invested in it.
exactly.
And you do
really
kind of
believe in each
and you
other?
kind of do
Believe in
need
the vision?
and you kind of do need to look at the marriage as a business. Obviously, there's the love aspect of it, but if you're going to get into something like a long-term relationship or a marriage, you kind of do have to look at it as a business, because it's like, what are the results? What's the end game?
Yeah.
And you need to know that it's not going to be a smooth ride. There are going to be some peaks and troughs. However, if you know that you both got the right plan, and especially if you've got kids together, then you're going to go and literally push towards that common goal.
Yeah.
100%. Because like, obviously we're going to interview, by the way. Yeah, but I'm just going to say that even when I look at, when you was talking, there were so many things that resonated with what you were saying to me.
Yeah.
Because when I met my now wife, like literally, like I didn't have anything when I met her. I remember when I first met her, for example, I remember saying, look, I can't take you out. I won't be able to do this because I've got a business I've just started. I was living in my living room at the time.
Yeah.
I'm literally going to be starting from ground zero. And her response was to like, don't worry, we'll build it together. And that was her thing. obviously I know you've had situation when
Yeah.
you know where you've had similar kind of things when your missus has built you
Oh,
up.
absolutely,
And it's just
yeah.
it's just nice hearing that
Yeah.
we're all kind of having like sing from the same hymn sheet on this.
Because that's the reality. People love to live in this fluffy world of things don't go wrong. Things are all perfect. It comes back around the block to the same thing. That's the realism of it. Relationships aren't always going to be easy. You know, for the first 2-3 years when me and my wife got together, we didn't argue. But then as time and life and things take into place, there's going to be arguments. There's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. There's going to be tears. There's going to be anger. But again, you know, it's we have a choice of which way we want to go. You know, the trophy wife, some people want, or the trophy husband or whatever. But the long and short of it is, my whole thing is if it all went tomorrow, if we have nothing tomorrow, will she nurse me if I was ill? 100%. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Good
know what I
measuring
mean?
stick.
Yeah.
Good measuring stick.
You have to be. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I can remember being young. We used to, how we both know Mr. Controversial,
Oh yeah.
doing music. We used to be MCs. And
We need to get him on, by the way.
yeah, wrong place, wrong time. I ended up getting stabbed and end up in hospital. But when I came out, my missus took time off work and she nursed me back to health. You know what I mean? So, you know,
Wow.
when someone does that, it makes you stop and think, well, boy, you know what I mean? That takes a special kind of person to do those sort of things. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, and not everyone has these extreme circumstances. Do you know what I mean? But it's definitely think the right partner and the right partners, whether not even just in the relationship, but even in the business, people that are willing to, you know, pick you up when you're down or give you a nudge in the right direction. I think even down to work colleagues, you know, like employees, you know, Jacko, if he doesn't like something that we're doing, it's not in the right way, he'll be like, yo, Kyle, mate, nah, let's not do this. Let's do this. Or let's leave this one. This one's trouble. You know, and you need that honesty around you. If you can't have people around you that can tell you no or tell you, nah, that's not right, then you're caught up in your own.
Yeah, and you need to even question the quality of that relationship.
Yeah.
If I'm not comfortable saying to Alex, I don't like that or that's not right, is there really a real relationship there anyway? And vice versa, you know?
Yeah, and friendship groups are the same thing. You know, as you get older, you realise that, you know, when you're younger, you know everyone. And the thing is, yeah, it's all gravy, you know. Some people, I mean, I now adopted the name Mr. AP, but people used to call me Mr. Friendly because I know everybody, you know. And, you know what I mean? It's no one ever knows me for anything bad. It's just like, oh, Kyle, yeah, he's cool. He's like Mr. Friendly, you know what I mean? But as you get older and you realise, you know, your friends, the people that actually call upon you and check on you, become literally, I mean, you know, I always say count on one hand. You know, you have many acquaintances, but true friends, you know, you end up counting on one hand, you know what I mean? And not to say that acquaintances don't want for you to do well, but everyone's caught up in their own world, you know, do you know what I mean? So, you know, I think it's having the right, you know, the right people around you and people that are going to engage your brain. You know, me and you spoke on the phone the other day for 20 minutes and then I was just like, raw, like that actually, like, engaged, do you know what I mean? And it's those conversations like sitting down.
Yeah, and it's a new friendship. Yeah, exactly.
100%,
Yeah,
bro.
of course.
Because people that want you to level up, you know what I mean? If and at the age we are now with kids, you know, you want people that are gonna help sow seeds in your brain to push forward and you know and push through. And I think quality over quantity in anything. Do you know what I mean? That's why, you know, that's why the saying goes, when you see so many different people in all these different books, you know, that you read and you hear, they say, well, you know, you stick with the one woman, you stay focused. But the truth of the matter is, if you're putting your energy into all these different things and different people, you're not going to get the quality. You're just going to get a little...
You're just spreading yourself thin. That's the reality.
thin, and you'll never get the true quality out of whatever person or people you're dealing with, you know? So, yeah, that's my view on the relationship.
Yeah.
Importance.
What made you think this way, though? Just out of curiosity. Because very rare. This is like...
You know what? I'm old before... I've always been told I'm old before my time. My mum is a very spiritual, deep thought process person. Spent a lot of time with my mum growing up, and also I think where I've got dyslexia and ADHD, it used to be misunderstood quite a lot. So I think over time, just speaking to different people, and I've always been fascinated by religions and things. So I've always been I'm not a person that really reads, but I listen a lot. And I think at around 18 also, I was introduced to a friend of mine, Darius, well, one of my best friends, to be fair, Darius. He's like my older brother. He comes from a different. He grew up how we grew up, but he also he grew up also in a different environment to what we did. So he opened my eyes to things and people that I never really would have met. So it kind of really pushed me to open my eyes. Hence the reason, like we were saying the other day, about how, you know, people always say to me, "Oh, Carl, you don't carry yourself like a typical black guy." He said, "You're not, you know, it's thing." I said, "Well, because I'm just me." You know, my grandparents, my grandmother was proper English Cockney lady. You know, she's like, "Hello, sweetheart, how's it going?" You know what I mean? No teeth, nothing. Shout out Nanny Josie, she's gone now. But the point of the matter is that I'm very diverse, and I love people. So I listen to and speak to all people from all different walks of life and everything else. So I think, especially when you talk about identity, that hits the nail on the head. Growing up in a predominantly white area as an only black kid, and then weekends going and chilling with your cousins, predominantly black area, and everything else, it was always a conflict for me to figure out who I was.
Right.
So I've had to learn to be comfortable around everyone. Do you know what I mean? So that's made me think more open-minded. You know, I've got friends. Yeah, I've got more. I call them family, because I say you got 5 friends. Like, I count on one hand friends, but I've got a lot of family that I consider family. Like where I live in High Wycombe, I've got like Pakistani friends that I like, treat me like family. They're cooking dinner. They're calling me. They're like their mum will literally be on the phone to me. "Kyle, you better come now." You know, it's proper. You know, and people that treat you with the utmost respect and kindness. You know. And then obviously, like I said, I've got my white family, Caribbean family, African family, you know. I've even got family that are gypsies, like literally, you know, I'm a proper diverse.
Do you know what? There's so many things I wanna unpick from what you said. So one of them, so this friend you said, or the person like your older brother Darius, you said where he exposed you to certain things that open your eyes. Let's tap into that a little bit. What do you feel you were exposed to?
He went to Arts Ed in Chiswick. So it's an acting school. But if you meet him, you know, when I met him, we were doing music. So came back into music, and I was doing music and all the rest of it. And the Chiswick crowd is slightly different to everywhere else.
Yeah. I know Chiswick well.
I mean? You know,
So I know what you mean.
Yeah, so it's slightly different to everyone else. Everyone that thinks a bit more, not so direct, a bit more bilateral than everything else. You know, I've met some amazing people through him that have like made me think and see things. You know, certain lifestyle, certain things. You know, what this life, then this I suppose flamboyant lifestyle that everyone lives now is like the drip or whatever you want to call it. You know, I've been around some of those people.
Right, I'm with you now.
From
Okay.
early.
Okay.
You know,
But that's probably authentic drip.
yeah.
Not the new stuff that's happening now.
Yeah, like, you know, I was introduced to a lot of crowds and different people from different industries and bits and pieces from early through him, and then obviously I progressed a few years later into doing what I do now. But we did landscaping predominantly before. So, you know, I've also been quite fortunate. I've worked for a lot of different types of individuals.
Okay.
So it's very interesting. It's always been interesting. Like I said, I love people. So when I'm in their house, I'm like, okay, so how did you get to like here? Like, what did you, you know? We were working for the manager of Coldplay for 4 years before we even knew he managed Coldplay.
Okay.
You know, we would come in one day, me and Dean, shout out Dean, and he's like, "Oh, boys, come inside. I want you to hear something." So we come in, and he sits us down on the sofa, and I'll come back to Darius. But sits down on the sofa and he's like, what do you think of this? I'm like, yeah, it's all right. It sounds a bit like, remember when Chris Brown Beautiful People came out?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Paradise. And I was like, oh wow, what did you like? Did you make this? And he's like, no, I'm the manager of Coldplay. What? So all this time, we've been working for this individual, knowing them as just Phil, shout out Phil Harvey and Yasmin Harvey and the kids. But, we worked for them for a good 7-8 years in their environments. And, as young black entrepreneurs coming up, you don't hear things like that. We're not meant to be in them spaces. That's that's the way we were told, And I'm not saying that that's not even from a pity thing, but this is what I love it, because I love when people say I'm not, but because I don't carry myself any other way but me, authentic me. So when it comes to understanding people and listening to people, I was always told, listen twice, speak once, because you've only got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Do you know what I mean? So you have to really take heed of people and understanding, and especially, like I said, growing up the way I did, I can remember people saying to me, oh, you're not black. You're like, you're one of us, mate. I'm like, nah, I'm still black, but I've grown up with you guys and we're all like thing. And thing is, a lot of the time, a lot of people take it like as a chip on their shoulder, like, oh, you can't say that. And that's how people live right now. They're still living like that now, little jokes and the rest of it.
Yeah, of course.
But anyone that's lived in or worked on the building game knows you got to have thick skin. Otherwise, there's no point you coming on site.
Yeah.
Because the banter that goes on there's no harm in it. It's just that way that everybody just has always been.
I would say that more than anything, that you're just more adaptable.
Yes.
You adapt to you adapt to your environment.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
Yeah, malleable. You have to be malleable. You know what I mean? And I think as you get older, you realise that half of the things that we think and we overthink are all bullshit. Excuse my French, but
You're absolutely right. And I'll give you a nice example as well. You see, when I moved out of London, right, I moved to a little town, in the outskirts of Leicestershire, right? And I remember, because I didn't know the area. I'm from London. So when I'm telling people I live in this town, from the black community, like, what? Black people don't move there at all. It's a racist area. It's this, it's that. Because these are all the things that people just hear. I ended up living there for 5 years, right? Did not experience any racism. And I'll tell you why. The perspective and how you process things is very important. So there were some comments. Let's say, for example, take my son to nursery. That's a little kid. That's a black man. And then when the comments come, you start to realize, hold on, it's not that there's a dislike, it's an unfamiliarity.
An unfamiliarity.
Bingo.
It's an unfamiliarity.
Contempt. That's all it is.
Yeah.
They just don't know.
Don't know.
Exactly my point.
Don't know.
And that's the same when you go to foreign countries, because, a good 10 years ago, I used to go to like Eastern Europe. And then back then it was like, oh no, you don't go there. You don't go to that part of the world because you don't know how they're going to treat black people. But when they go there, it's more of a fascination. Like, we haven't seen you, what you're about. But as long as you come humble, polite, respectful, listen, walks of life, everyone's going to be cool and cordial with you. It's when you feel that you've got a chip on your shoulder, that's the problem.
Yeah.
When you're looking for it, that's normally when you feel that there's an issue towards you. And that's why when we talk, I hate the victim mentality.
Yeah, it's no victim. Yeah.
Yeah, like I hate the victim mentality. Just assess it for what you are.
Yeah.
And this, and if we are going to put it out there for the elephant in the room, we live in Europe. So what do you expect? Like, you live in Europe, so you are going to be the minority anyway. You are going to be the minority, so you have to accept that as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's some racist people out there in the world. Yeah, I'm sure there is. I mean, of course there is. Of course it is. It's okay. Of course there is. But you can't make that determine your destination. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. Like, you have to just assess the situation. You live in Europe, which is predominantly, you're definitely the minority. Learn to adapt, learn how to maneuver, and make sure you use it to your advantage.
Exactly. And it's how you deal with the situation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's so quick and easy for us to get angry and be like, blah, 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 blah. Like I said, especially in the world that I'm in, I still come across it. It's how you deal with the situation. I always kill people with kindness. Even up to the most recently, I can remember a job that we were on, and ladies said, well, we know people like you, your type, the neighbour. I said, oh, really? I said, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to have a conversation with you any further, but God bless you. Have a great day. And I hope that your opinion of people like me eventually changes. But for now, I'm going to crack on. And she didn't know what to say.
Because she was expecting you to be aggressive.
Bravo.
There you go.
You know, and the thing is, I know what it's like to be on the back end of being chased by proper racist people. You ask Mr. Controversial when you get him on here about the times when Marlon had to run home by getting chased by NF. Like it was real. It was real. You know what I mean? Even in Hillingdon, you know, when I was young, primary school, coming home from school, 10 years old, getting, you know, rushed by like 8, 9 people and thrown in the road, nearly killed. Like real talk. My auntie shout out Auntie Leslie, and come running up the road and licked 2 of them with their slipper and managed to dash a couple of them out the way. But that's the realism of it.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm not sitting here going, oh my gosh, it's like at the end of the day, it's life. It's happened. Like we either let it make us or we let it break us. You know, and I'm a firm believer that you have to move onwards.
Lick your wounds and carry on.
Yeah, man. Like not even lick them. Let them scars stay, bro. You know what I mean? Let them see so you know. So you think. And the thing is, now, because I carried myself the way that I do, I can walk into any room comfortably as me. I don't have to go into a room suited and booted like every other builder. I don't, because that's not who I am. Obviously, I can take the snapback off when I need to, but the point of the matter is, I dress accordingly to who I am, and conduct myself in a certain way, and that is where we are consistently busy. That's why. You know, that's why we're consistently busy, because we are our authentic selves. Authenticity is the most important thing. You know what I mean? You know, you can put on a fake rollie for so long, but eventually the mechanism's going to stop working.
Yeah.
Start hearing the ticks.
It's not meant to tick.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's meant to glide. So, you know, but it's the same thing in pretending to be somebody that you're not in a business and a thing. Eventually, you're going to get found out. So just be your authentic self. And if you don't know something, put your hand up and say, I actually don't know. And I'm the first one to do that, you know. So, you know, if I don't know something, I call the person that does know what they're doing or understands it a bit better than me. Or I go and read and find out, or watch and find out. I'm not going to sit here and lie like I read. I don't read. Just, you know, but I'll watch something.
Yeah, you're a visual person. Yeah, of course.
You know? So, but yeah, going back to Darius took us, me and another friend of mine, out to different environments and in different circles and different types of actors, actresses, you know, social events and all the rest of it, that made you stop and go, oh wow, like there's actually a different world out there to what we've, and bear in mind, I'm 18, 19 seeing these things where people are going to these central London clubs or restaurants and all the rest of it. But, you know, and Eamon as well, to be fair, it was one of his good friends, you know, our good friends. They took us to environments and took us around people that we wouldn't have normally been around at those ages. All of these things, you know, so it's, I think that the diversity of people that you know is so important, you know, and it continues even to this day, you know, to take us to places. They're all in the crypto world now, so you know, I understand it, but I don't get too
sure.
But again, he continues to take me to places, and that's why we were saying about friends that take you to places and elevate you.
Network is your net worth.
Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? And the thing is we're so quick to judge sometimes because we think that we know what someone's worth or who they know. But again, you know, from the cultures that we grew up in, our parents is like, well, you know how it can be sometimes.
Oh, yes.
But I was lucky my mum isn't too much like that, or my dad. So we would learn and taught from early to understand people and speak to people. And as you get older, you know, I'm forever inspired by people from so many different backgrounds. Even as recently as GD, the gym owner. He's more than G the gym owner. G the Titan, I call him. Because his story, where he come from, and what him and his family achieved from nothing, from literal nothing. You know, it's not my story to tell, but it's just more. But it's more than grassroots. It's from the mud, sown the soil, I hear his story, and it's almost like an Asian version of where I came from growing up. And it just goes to show you, he said to me the other day, he was like, Kyle, you can have 9 rubbish years and still grafting and grinding. It's that 10th one.
You just see that one time.
That last day, to change everything. He said, you can chase all of the money, all of the this and the world, but he said, when it comes down to it, when you look around you, it's the family that you have around you that count. You can be worth umpteen amounts of money. He gave me a great example of a friend of his that the 23 years they were trying to have a kid, and eventually on the 23rd year they had a child, and they all were sitting down, and he said, and the guy that he's talking about is a billionaire. He was like, listen, would you trade the billion for a healthy kid, or would you rather not have the kid or a healthy kid and keep the billion? He said, take the billion. It ain't mean nothing. It's the family. Legacy. That's what I live for. Legacy. Hit the nail on the head.
Because when it's all said and done, and that time comes, you need that, that's that child that's going to be taking that name on forward.
Yeah, exactly.
And living through you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I've said it, even on our Instagram and on all the rest of it. I said it before. I was like, give people their flowers. The new thing that we all say, give people their flowers while they're here. Because once they're gone, And that comes back to the legacy, There's nothing harder to swallow on your deathbed than the regret of not doing something. And, how am I meant to elevate my children and tell my children to give things a go if I don't give things a go myself? And that's really the reason why I set up doing AP. I was working in a business partnership before. We made good money. It's not that we didn't make good money. It just didn't serve where I needed to be and what I was trying to do, and I couldn't show my kids what we can do if we give it a go. I've as you say, you go up, you go down. I've done so many different things over the years, but this is the only thing that felt right. I know how to work with my hands, and it's given me the ability to continue to meet different people.
Yeah.
And been able to put a positive message at the same time with it. So it's a thing of beauty. That the positivity is probably the thing that I live for, and the graft is the vehicle.
Nice.
Oh, amazing. I like a lot of the things you said. As Alex knows, I'm someone I like to read a lot, just to for me.
Yeah, he's the reader.
It's what works.
But I love that. I love that. Yeah,
it's what works for me to optimize myself. And I take a quality over quantity approach. Like, I don't just try to blitz through books. Like, I can be on the same book, and I make sure I'm highlighting every bit. When that chapter's done, go back over it, do my notes, because I want to understand. Because I wasn't always a big reader. It's something I've only developed in recent years, right? And I think at the moment, the big thing that I've been implementing in my life is literally being 100% present, right? So as we're sitting here, we live in different cities. I'm just meeting
Correct.
you. You've got a great story. So I need to be 100% locked in to this moment, to embrace time with my brother, to embrace hearing your story and connecting with you. Do you see what I mean? So the same way in the business side of things, with the family life, then when I go home, it's Sunday, I'm 100% locked in here. I've got my vision and my plans, but right now and today, this is what the focus is. And I feel very fulfilled in doing that.
And to be fair, and because if after a certain amount of time, if I call him, he's not picking up. Yeah, because he's locked in on family mode, which I respect.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Everything you do is with intention, which is how it needs to be. Because then you can give 100% of what needs to be done.
And at the same time, when it's work mode, my family know.
Yeah.
Once the back office is closed, is work mode.
Yeah. But that's real. That's the real. And the thing is, because I'm always on the go, when I do come home and I'm sitting down with the wife or the kids, I make sure that hour, even if it is an hour, is just them. I don't look at the phone. Because what it's like as a business owner, your phone ping, 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 ping. Now I even try and take the phone and just leave it in a different room, just to avoid the temptation, just that the quality is there for those durations and all the rest of it. I've even stopped wearing my Apple Watch recently because my phone just keeps going, and I keep on sitting, the temptation of, who's that? Shall I answer it? in actual fact, like I'm currently still on the tools. So every time my phone goes, I just found it a distraction. So I think one day I just got vexed and just threw it on. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wear it. Not at the moment anyway, because it's just a distraction.
Yeah, and it's about just do it with intent. Because if you go on a flight for like 5-6 hours, you're not gonna have signal there, and no one can get in contact with you there, and you're more than happy to do it at that point.
Yeah.
Then what changes?
Yeah.
So it's the same. It's the same formula.
Yeah, even just that do not disturb mode on the phone, because I know being up at 5 every day, I'm winding down from like 8:30, so my phone automatically goes on sleep mode and just leave it there. It's like and now it's at a point where I've been doing it long enough that I forget about the phone, because it's like that's offline now.
Yeah.
We wind down, we sleep, we wake up early, we stay on routine. I've got a plan,
Yeah.
you know, and I need to stick to that plan.
Oh yeah, I'd like to wind down at 8:30. I don't remember what that's like.
Don't get me wrong, with young kids, you know,
Yeah.
2 a.m, you know, someone's creeping in the bed. You know?
What time? I'm still at work. I'm a 5 a.m.er, but I'm still at work. Certain times I step in the door. I could step in at 11, 12 at night from the day before, or 5 a.m.
Okay.
Like, I've done, especially as recent, we pulled some hours. We've done a few 90, 100, 120 hour weeks. But,
Wow.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, slow feet don't eat. So
So is it?
Run that one again.
slow feet don't eat.
Slow feet don't eat. I like that one.
Yeah. So
I like it. So the business that you're AP, is it just yourself, or is it a partnership with someone else?
I set up AP by myself, and do you know what? I'll be honest. When I set out, I had a vision of just doing the decorating and light renovation side of things. That was my vision initially. Even though I had a background of doing all these bits and pieces, my dad is a building designer and project manager and surveyor and everything else that goes on with it.
Okay.
But that was my initial plan. But lo and behold, all the contacts and stuff that I have, they didn't want to let me do that. And it quickly, within the first 6 weeks, went straight in, all in, everything. We'd done refurbishments before. That's what we were doing before. But this time, it just kind of really snowballed really quickly, to the point of, in the first year, we've done a bar. We did about 15 odd flats for Mears. We did...
Oh, well, that's big. Because Miz is a big company.
Yeah, I won't go there again. They're long. Not the type of houses I want to be doing work with. I was grateful for the work. Let me not take away from that, but it's not the type of work we want to be doing. We've done two flats, one in Croydon, one in Acton. Done a house in Ealing, flat in Bush. Painted about 3 or 4 massive apartments, and all the little bits and pieces that go in between, and all that in a year. So it developed very quickly from the bar to the mere stuff. Originally it was me and my cousin that were doing bits and pieces, but I'm a person that I never believe in holding anyone back, and he had quite a reasonable gardening business going in the summer before, and the opportunity rose for him again. So he was like, do you mind? I was like, nah, go ahead, get it done, bro. From that, I was introduced. I was looking for extra labour, and then Jacko came along, Hefe came along, the original boys, and then my dad got made redundant, and he said, I'm going to go and look for another job. I said, why go work for someone else? Come work with me. And then G-Man fell into the fold, and then that's where we ended up with all of the integral staff. We've got obviously subbies of AP, and then we just dug our heels in and got it going,
Build a super team.
Yeah. And the thing is I'm a firm believer that I see the strengths in everyone, but they can only use their strengths once they see what they are. And sometimes you've got to give people a chance for it. I have gone through some people since I started. 2 people have gone. I wish them all the best. I wish no negativity on anyone, but the guys that are there, they're in the trenches with us. Same way you're talking about relationships. if at 5 o'clock someone's looking, oh, I need to go home, or they're like, okay, what's next? Let's get this done. There's a difference, especially if it's not healthy for us to work like this all the time, but it's our first year and we just needed to dig in. And it's paid off for the reputation and the thing. We've earned some money. The boys have got food on the table. So as long as there's food on the table and the bills are paid, then it's not a negative. But from the, definitely moving forward onto bigger and better things is definitely our thing. We've got an eye for things. We see things that people don't. So we create stuff and do things in the houses for people, hence the signature finish, especially as the Ealing project with little lighting features. You walk to the staircase, catches you on a PIR and the whole thing lights up. Same thing in the hallway with the drop ceilings and bits and pieces like that. People aren't doing that as a standard. We kind of just do that because we did. We weren't asked to do it. I said to her, do you mind? She said, Carl, do what you do best. I said, all right, cool. And I, as long as people trust me and I, we trust us with the vision and I pass it by them, then the rest is thing. I'm a person that if I don't think someone should spend the money, I'll be like, no, don't do that. It's a waste of money. But you could put your money if you want to put something more into something. This would be it. Prime example is the job that we're doing in Shepherd's Bush at the moment. The heating system was dated, real dated. Took a radiator off and it was black. It was knackered.
Like old pipes as well.
Oh yeah, it was a mess. It was a real mess, and it was all backwards. The pipe work in there, and then I called the DNR boys in. Shout out Don, my training partner. Again, great people. There's another prime example of having good people around you. He was kicking me up the backside 2 years ago to set up AP. So again, having those right people around.
Nice.
Is his thing, so I have to give him his credit where it's due. But they come in and they said, look, we can do this and this, upgrade the system, make sure that it's efficient and energy efficient for the people, for the client. Told the client, explained it to him, and he was like, yeah, thanks, great. Whereas on the other hand, they were talking about knocking out this wall, that wall. I'm like, you're going to gain no value. I'm like, yeah, I could happily do the work, but what value are we going to get from it? It's just putting money in my pocket. But I'm always looking at the bigger picture. I'm always looking at the bigger picture because eventually in the new year is the plan to set up in the UAE as well.
Oh, nice.
So there's a massive gap for it, and I've got quite a few contacts but working with Darish,
Right.
knowing Darish, sorry, and all the rest of it, and other people that I know.
There's a lot of development going up there as well.
Oh, massive! But
It's
the thing is, I'm
huge.
not even after the development. I'm not after the development. That's what everyone else is after. I don't need the development. I want the renovation, because I know that I can turn it around. I know I can turn it around. So I'm not after like I said, micro. Everyone's after the big bread. I'm just trying to add the grains. I had the grains over time. Like I said,
Get the crumbs.
get the crumbs.
Yeah.
Everyone else get the bread up.
Exactly.
The crumbs. I don't mind. The crumbs in the UAE is good, man.
Exactly.
You know what
Get
I
enough
mean?
crumbs, push it together, make a nice little slice of bread.
There you go.
That's it,
Yeah,
man.
it's true.
That's it. I'm not after the big bread. I'm after the crumbs. I pick up the crumbs bit by bit, and I'll get there where I need to get to.
Question. So that there's one gap that I feel we need to cover, right?
Yeah.
So, wrapped up with school and everything. So now, how do you get from the point of that to here? Like, what kind of hands-on experience did you get in your field? How did that look?
Okay. So when I left school, a friend of my dad's, Stuart, does landscaping and gardening. And on the holidays, he'd always tell me, come with me, we'll go and cut gardens, to do this. So I did that. But also in between, my neighbour opposite, his dad was a roofer. And he used to say on the holidays, come and do roofing with me. And then as a very young kid, my dad used to take me around sites to survey and all the rest of it. And my grandfather in Jamaica was the same thing. He's an architect. And then my great-grandfather was a architect and built bridges. So we've always been around building.
It's in your blood.
It was in my blood, but I never wanted to do building.
Okay.
I couldn't have thought of anything worse. I was dead against it. My dad was like, I was like, no. I want to do music. And I did do it for a duration. I opened up for Akon and
Okay.
Hammersmith Apollo, Trafalgar Square. When they dropped PlayStation 2 or 3, I can't remember which ones. We was there at the opening, like, and we performed. Like, I've done.
What is it like? MC
No, I was singing.
singing.
All right.
Yeah. Haven't picked it back up for a while because I mean, again, even that's in my family. My uncle was Don Taylor, the manager of Bob Marley. One he
Okay.
hung out the window. But I'm named after his son, Kyle, who passed when he was young. But it's yeah. My family is very diverse. So I've, to answer your question, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then after that, I went to college, did business studies, didn't think I passed. We had this conversation the other day, and was a bum for a couple of months, just like, well, I ain't passed, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
My mum was like, Carl, you need to do something. Like, my dad was getting in my ear, as they do back then. And I remember the day everyone started uni, I got a knock at the door, and it was the postman, and it was my results. And I actually got a distinction in business and advanced business. So I could have gone to uni. And the thing is, I used to go to college, I'd get the work and I'd leave. And I'd write it, do all my assignments, whatever you want to call them, and I'd go and hand it in, and that'd be it. And I'd be out working after that. So I literally go there to get the work and then go to work. So I worked in Debenhams, Savers. I even worked as a chef for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Hot
can hold
washing
it down, yeah.
I wish to say we don't cook at home, but yeah, as a chef, and then that carried me up until I worked at Foot Locker, I think, which is probably the worst place I could have worked, especially as a trainer collector. But anyway,
Which one? Which branch?
Uxbridge.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I've also done telesales marketing. Again, my wife picked me up and was just like, "You ain't working, come and do some things." So we did that.
But telesales marketing is actually good because it builds confidence.
Yeah, you know what? And the thing is, it's now. I look back now at all of these different jobs that I've done, and I go, "Rad, he's actually gave me every single bit of what I do." Being with people face to face in Foot Locker, working under pressure in a kitchen, having to feed 200 people in the heat, grafting, doing landscaping with my dad's friend, and all the rest of it. And then after that, I ended up going and working for a dental implant company. That was where, just before it kind of got to where I am, a dental implant company teaching dentists how to place dental implants and selling the training courses. And I was there again for about 2-3 years, and I wanted to become a sales rep, and I was too young. They said to me, "Well, you're too young. You can't do that." I said, "Well, that's not on." And we went to an exhibition. I ended up selling more than one of their new sales reps, and ended up getting like a £200-300 check or something stupid like that. And then everyone else on the stand got like 7-8 grand, and I was like, okay, this is the world that we're living in. So eventually they're like, "We see that you don't want to be here." I was like, well, you know what I want to do, you don't want me to do it. So basically they gave me redundancy. And then I went off and worked with, I got a phone call maybe 2 weeks after being off from a friend of ours. And, I went to school with his wife, and Kirsty, my wife, and he said, "Look, I heard you got made redundant, you want to come work with me?" And I was like, yeah, why not? And then a good 14 years, me and Dean were grafting, working for the likes of the Saudi royal family, manager of Coldplay,
Wow.
the director of British and American Tobacco. I mean, you name it. I've worked for some of the most wealthiest, and we were on that journey for a good 14 years, even down to one of the guy that created the software to transfer Bitcoin. We didn't even know what it was at the time.
So run that by the
Yeah,
builds.
one of the guys that created the software for Bitcoin to
Okay.
transfer it. Anthony Culligan, his name was. You look him up, financial equity and all the rest of it. Yeah, from early on, and we didn't even know what it was. And we worked for them for a long time as well. So yeah, it's all these different people and these different, again, engaging with all these different people and these different types and personalities is what then eventually, after COVID, I was working on my own in COVID for a while. No animosity. It's just he had a kid on the way and all the rest of it. And I kind of just dug my heels in and carried on. And I think that it was from then that I really realised that I needed to go out and do something for myself. But it still took me 2 years of overthinking to actually get to that point. And eventually I said, I need to start AP. And it was my daughter. Son was already here. But my daughter, once she was born and I was like, you know what? Can't let another young one come and not spend the time with them. I missed out on that with my son. Now it's time for me to make something happen, and there we have it. We've got AP now, doing what we do, and just trying to. My aim is not to become the biggest, but the best contractors around, not just in the UK, but UAE and everything else, for quality work, not just cut and shutting out the door. I think that there's too many of those, just to continue to grow it and make things happen. And add value to people, along the way. The building is, like I said, the building's the vehicle for me.
Nice.
But putting the positivity out and giving good energy and listening to people and giving people advice and lifting people up. That's probably, if people said to me, what's your end goal? It's that, to lift people, The building work, I love it, I enjoy it, but lifting people up and meeting new people and giving good advice and meeting new people to understand their mindset and how things work is what amazes me, and is what will continue to push me to do what I do. And
Nice.
You know what? That's a fantastic way to land the plane.
yeah.
I just got one more question actually before we wrap up. Just wanted to know, like, what would you tell, like, I wouldn't say the younger version of yourself, so someone who's quite young, who just don't know what they really want to do, but obviously we've heard your experience. What would you probably give someone some advice?
I think we put too much pressure on ourselves to try and understand ourselves too quickly. I can honestly say that for the first time at 35, I now know who I am. From 25 to 33 was coasting. Obviously, you know your wife, you know your life, but who I was as a person, not too much. So I would say is just be persistent, and if you get knocked down 9, get up 10, and just keep going. As always, my favourite analogy to use with people was when you was a kid or a baby, you didn't know how to walk. You crawled, you stood up a little bit, you fell down, you got up. And then someone tried to counteract me the other day and said, oh, but someone held you. But I said, yeah, but they didn't move the legs for you though, did they? So you just got to keep on going and keep on moving, and eventually you'll find your destination. And there might be a few U-turns. There might be a few times you fall on your bum. But at the end of the day, if you stay in stagnant water, it'll always be stagnant. But when you move into fresher waters. And that's the best thing I could say to anyone and any youth. Just keep on moving into new waters and you'll eventually find your destination.
Nice. Like that. Where can people find you if they want to get some work done for yourself?
They can find us on the website, www.andersonprojects.co.uk, or they can find us on Instagram, AP Anderson Projects. We come straight up now. I think we're on TikTok and all the rest of it. That's Hefe's bag. Hefe is the one that gets us all in those places. But yeah, you'll always see us, and we're always at networking meetings and all the rest of it, doing what we do. That's what I'll say to people. Network. Do you know what? Networking, which we've done only the last year and a half, changed a lot. It changes your network. You end up being around individuals that think how you want to think, because you're putting yourself in a place where you want to be, and never be the smartest man in the room. Definitely.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
We can
Appreciate it.
really keep going.
Yeah, we
I know
can
we're
keep
tired.
going.
Keep going,
Listen,
yeah.
I know
I
the
think
time's
this might
ticking.
have to be a part 2 as well.
But
Yeah,
I thank
definitely.
you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Pleasure,
especially
man.
on short notice and all the rest of it. But it was an insightful one, and it makes me think. Whenever I conversate about my own journey, it makes me think inwards. And when I think inwards, it means that there's always space for more growth. So thank you, gents.
No, it's
No
an
problem.
absolute pleasure. Hearing your story, it's solid.
Appreciate it.
Solid. And you know what? I know you're just scratching the surface. and you're about to take off even further. So yeah, I look forward to seeing it.
Thank you, bro.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. To the next one.
Appreciate you all for tuning in again. Top tier podcast.
Top tier, baby. Top tier.